Galba, rebel. Galba was the first emperor absolutely unrelated to the Julio-Claudian dynasty. So it was a radical change from the things that were considered normal for a few decades. And it also put him in a slightly vulnerable position because he was more or less an outsider, but a prominent and respected outsider with a sizable army. But it wasn't enough, and by the time everyone figured out that, well, there's nothing really special in disposing of the emperors. And if you have an army, you can declare yourself one and move the troops in the general direction of Rome. So Galba arrived in Rome. He was more or less okay, but he wasn't an uncontested emperor and had to deal with the open disloyalty of the legions. Vitelius in Germania was doing his thing. Vespasian in the East formally recognized Galba's authority, but in fact tried to secure the military support of all of the Asian territories plus Egypt. And Rome itself was a snake pit. All of this is happening, and we're entering the year 69, the year of the four emperors. And the sources for the year of the four emperors are pretty much the same as before. But it is also worth mentioning that there are biographies of Galba and Otho by Plutarch, which is a valuable addition. As a result of the conspiracy headed by Marcus Salvius Otho, Galba was killed, and Otho was declared the emperor. Galba reigned for something like 7 months. Otho, a guy who killed himself for no reason. Rome swallowed Galba, but Otho inherited all of his problems. Vitelius was on the move, and he had to be stopped. This is civil war. The army of Vitelius entered North Italy, and Otho moved there with his loyal forces. Vitelius was victorious in the Battle of Bedriacum, but it was only one battle, not the war. And suddenly, for no reason at all, Otho decided to kill himself. He had more legions under his control and could effectively continue warfare, and quite probably he had an advantage over Vitelius. The historians obviously came up with the noble reasons for suicide. Otho wanted to stop the civil war and avoid bloodshed, which kind of contradicts all his previous life. And Otho used to be one of Nero's friends, until Nero decided to marry Otho's wife. So yeah, there were numerous civil wars in history, and one thing we learned from that is if you're participating in the civil war and winning, the best course of action is to kill yourself. That's how it usually happens. Very believable. Anyway, Otho was gone after only 3 months as the emperor. His legions stopped fighting, at least for a while. Vitelius, a hungry emperor. Ancient historians hate Vitelius, and sometimes it is hard to reconstruct the details of his short reign, because most of the details that are actually given to us by the likes of Cassius Dio, they involve food. Vitelius was known for his gluttony, or was he? So yeah, you have to read how he was eating and eating and eating. They basically had Kirby for the emperor, if you trust the sources. Vespasian in the East was carefully planning his move, but by the time he actually made one, the legions that previously were loyal to Otho recognized him as the emperor and decided to fight Vitelius, whom they obviously strongly disliked and suspected that he wanted to eat them. The forces of Vitelius were defeated. He was deposed by the Senate and killed 8 months into his reign. Vespasian was officially confirmed as the emperor, and everyone was sitting and waiting for his arrival.